Hi, in this video screencast I'm going to quickly walk through how to set up a new document library on your team site. You can see here I'm on the CAP Committee's team site. The first thing I want to do if I want to create a new document library is go to Site Actions, Site Settings, and Site Libraries and Lists. So I'm now looking at all the site libraries and lists on the CAP Committee's team site. So I want to create a new library. So I'm going to create new content. And I have all sorts of content that I can create on this team site. What I want to do is create a document library. So I'll go here. And I'm going to call my new library Joe's Test Library. And yes, I want to display this document. If you want other people to see it, you'll leave that checked. And if you want to create a new version to this every time you edit a file, then you would check that, but I would suggest that you not do that for the time being. That'll bog down your site. So I hit create. And you can see here, these are columns. And I have these by default: type, name, modified, modified by. So what I want to do is go back in and I need to create new columns to capture the metadata that's going to be a part of this new library. And the way I'll do that is I'll go back to Site Actions, Site Settings, Site Libraries and Lists, and I'm going to find my test library. And here it is, Joe's Test Library. And now that I'm here, I can see that these are my columns that are there by default, but I want to create a new column, and I want to call this, I want to capture some metadata for this document, whatever the document might be. So I'm going to create a new column. And I'll call this column, I don't know, let's just call it new column 1. And this column, I want it to capture information that is either a single line of text, multiple lines of text, or a choice. A lot of times I like to use this depending on what I'm trying to capture, and I want to have it, I want to be able to make a choice, a drop-down choice. So I'll come in here, I'll usually just delete these, and I'll say Joe 1, Joe 2, Joe 3. And this is going to be a drop down, and I want to allow fill-ins. Usually no, but sometimes you might want that. And then you want a default value. Usually you want to take that out because it'll default to something, and then somebody will just leave the default and you won't be capturing the right data. So I just delete all that information there. So now I have that new column there. New column 1. It's a choice. Okay, so then I want to create another column, and I'll say new column 2, and I want this to be a date, and say this is the date of the document. And do I want it to be required? Yes. You can't upload this without putting this required information in here. And the date, so do I want the date only or the date and time? Usually it's just going to be the date. Default value, if it's something that you're filling out and you want the default to be today's date, then do that. If not, if it's a document library, probably not. You would want to have none, so you'd have to manually enter the date. Calculated value, okay, so I'm going to hit that. So now I've got my new column 1 and 2, and I can continue on here. Let me do one more. I'm going to create another column and new column 3, and let me see here, I want to do a lookup and get information from all OCFA documents. Require this, yes or no? I'll just say yes. And I've just created that column there too. Okay, so now that I've got my columns here, I'm going to go back into my team site, and here's my test library. And you can see here that I've got all these columns now. And let's just say I don't like all of these columns and I want to get rid of some of this stuff. So I want to come in here and I want to go to, I want to edit the view of this document library, and I'm going to modify this view. And what I want to do here is I want to have all my new columns there, but I don't need to see modified by, so I'm going to get rid of that. And the first column I want to see is this new column 1, so I'm going to say, you know what, that should be number 1. New column 2 should be number 2. New column 3, I want to see that here. And I also want to have an edit with a link to item, and I want to make that number 1. And I can get into this sort. You can come in here and sort these as you have, if you're filling up this library with lots of documents and you want to sort by the year, the type of document or anything, you can come in here and do that stuff too. I'll get to that later. But then I can also group by, and I want to group by any of the columns I create here. I can group by the column that I created, and I can filter, and I can sort by any of the information that I add to these columns. So let's say I think, okay, I've got this set up the way I want to, and I say OK. And now I've got this edit here, number 1, number 2, column number 1, 2, 3, document type, and I can change these around in any order that I want, and I can add new columns there if I like. So let's just say I want to upload a document, and I want to, let's just say I want to upload a document. I want to browse my computer for the document I want to upload, and I want to upload this document. Reserve calendar just happened to be a document that was on my desktop. And then I can, if I want to, you don't have to put a title in here, but let's just say I'm just going to copy and paste that right there. And here's my columns that I've created. This one, I'm going to select this. This one is my date column. So I'm going to click this. It's not letting me do it. Column 3, and I'm going to check that in. But it's not letting me do that because it won't let me put the date here. So there is my document. And you can see over here that the type of document, it's a Word document, here's the name. But let's say I don't like this over here and I want to put the type of document way back over here in the first column. Modify this view. Type of column, it's going to be number 2. I hit OK, and I want to see how that's going to look and lay out. Okay, good. So I've got edit, type of document, and then I've got them as such. But let's say I want to say edit, type of document, then I want the name of the document. So I'll just come back here, and I know that I want that to be the 3rd column. Name of document. I want that to be the 3rd column. Hit OK. And now I've got edit, type of document, the name of the document, and then this column here that has whatever I decide to put there. And that's pretty much it. So when I've just created a library, I've created some columns, and then I've changed the view of some of these, and this could be laid out any way you like. So I hope that kind of helps you out. I know it was kind of quick and kind of rough, but that's how you do it.